Hey, how are you boys doing? It's the boy Dave, and today we are back. Now, I want to say this is a spoiler-free review for the Batman. I repeat, spoiler-free. I will have a spoiler video coming up here shortly, but this is a spoiler-free review for the Batman. Now, I just want to start off by saying, I told you so. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I have to just praise Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson for this movie as a whole. Of course, the rest of the cast was amazing, and I'll get into that as I go on. But the vision of Matt Reeves lives in this film. It lives in this film, and I'm glad that we did get him partnered with Robert Pattinson and not Ben Affleck. I love the vision that they had for this movie, and you can tell a lot of hard work was put into every minute, every second, and every shot of this movie. I want to start by saying this is one of the greatest opening scenes I've ever seen for a comic book movie. You have to be there to watch it. There's so much I want to say to you guys without trying to give too much away. So just know you're hooked from start to finish. There was not a single moment where I wasn't glued to the screen. It got to the point where my girlfriend literally had to try to get me to remember that I bought food for the movie. It was that bad. Or I guess I should say that good. Now let me know down below. I did go to an AMC theater, so what was cool is I was sitting in the theater and I saw this guy unmasking something. And I'm wondering what the hell he's unmasking. I'm like, did this guy bring his own Batman mask? Like, what's going on? That's dedication. So I kind of had to pull him aside or talk to him and be like, hey, where'd you get that from anyway? Did you get it online? He's like, oh, I got it at the concession stand. I'm like, nah. He's like, no, yeah, I really got it at the concession stand. Before the movie starts, I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm about to go grab me one of these. Luckily, my girlfriend was still online. She actually purchased this Batman mask that I guess it's more of a popcorn bowl. You know, you guys can see like the inside here. I thought it was really fucking cool. I'm not putting anything in this. Let it be known. I'm not putting anything in this. This is gonna go somewhere. You know, people might laugh at it, call it, oh, it's a cheap get. I love this. AMC. Hey, keep doing this. I love this, man. This is just gonna get hung up somewhere, maybe get put on a shelf. I fucking love that. So I'm not gonna lie, this felt like a true event. I was excited about that. Sorry, I just had to be a fanboy for a second. Let's talk about Robert Pattinson as Batman. Let me start with his Bruce Wayne. As you guys may know, and by the way, this is not a spoiler. This is, like I said, this is a spoiler-free review, but I will be giving a good amount of insight of the film. Now, we do get Batman for about 90 to 95% of the movie. Maybe saying 95 is a stretch, but we get him for a good amount of the movie. It felt like it felt like how the Arkham games are, you know, honestly, and I love that. But for the time that we did get Bruce Wayne, it did take me a moment to warm up to that, even though we did see a little bit of Bruce Wayne in the trailer. We didn't get to really see the full idea of how Bruce Wayne would be, and I see a lot of people having an issue with how Bruce Wayne is portrayed in this, and I think there's two things that go into that. For how little we see him in the movie and how things are with him as far as his demeanor and how he truly carries himself. Because if you look at Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne, he's completely different from the other versions of Bruce Wayne that we've seen. More specifically, Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne. So I know a lot of people are going to have an issue with it, but seeing how everything has led up to where he is now, seeing what he's gone through, the trauma, everything, the lows, his demeanor and everything is spot on for me personally. He's more of a very quiet Batman. A lot of people are saying he's more of an emo. I'm sorry, not Batman. Bruce Wayne, more of a quiet Bruce Wayne, more of a to himself kind of guy. A lot of people are saying it gives him an emo vibe. I guess that's fair. From him just kind of being to himself, being a little bit more toned down, and his demeanor, I love it. A lot of people are not gonna like it, I'm sure. I've already seen complaints, but I love Bruce Wayne, and this is a different version of Bruce Wayne. This is a very young Bruce Wayne. This is a year 2 Batman film, by the way, guys. It's a very young Bruce Wayne, and seeing that everything he has gone through has led up to this, I get why that's how he's being portrayed. If we do get other installments, which I'm sure we are, I'm sure that'll change, but as far as Bruce Wayne, I'm so fine with that. I have no complaints. If we're talking about the Batman, let me just say, I felt this a little bit with Ben Affleck's Batman, but this is the first Batman film that truly allows me to feel his presence on screen. I got that a little bit with Ben Affleck's Batman, but not to this extent. Every scene that he's in, from the opening scene to just every time he's suited up, you feel it. There's something, even outside of the film, there's something that just screams fear about this Batman. He wants you to feel that. You see that within characters in the film. You feel that within you. His presence just felt, it felt iconic. It felt like it was very fear driven. And I loved it. Especially during the opening scene. You'll know what I'm talking about when you see that first 10 to 15 minutes. The first opening scene for that movie is fucking insane. I swear. And just not to give too much away, but there's just scenes where he's just standing there fully suited, and it's just like that feels like Batman. There's so much fear and intimidation that's put into his performance, and I love it. I'm there for it all. I'm trying not to say too much, but I'm there for it all. Unlike Christian Bale, you can actually hear everything that Robert Pattinson is saying while he is suited up as the Batman. No, I'm not crapping on Christian Bale as Batman, but with Robert Pattinson, I just loved it. From the Bat voice to how he carried himself in the Bat suit. It just felt amazing. Everything about it felt really amazing. Piggybacking off of that thought, I will say it was kind of making me a little irritated. And I don't mean that like I was truly upset, but I was getting a bit irritated by the crowd reactions because I don't think people realize that this is, once again, a year 2 Batman. And there's certain things that happen in the movie, which I'm not going to say, that they had weird reactions and mixed reactions to. And they're not realizing this is a year 2 Batman, a very young Bruce Wayne. So it's kind of hard to, I mean, you can't stop in the middle of the movie and explain to people, oh, why this happened, or, oh, you should pick up on this. And it was just kind of weird to see. But you guys will see certain instances in the movie where people kind of, oh, I can't say it, bro. I can't say it. I want to say it so bad. But no, I'm not going to say it. You guys will just have to watch the movie. If we're talking about my favorite performances, it has to be Colin Farrell as the Penguin and Jeffrey Wright as Jim Gordon. And I'm just going to let the Penguin performance speak for itself. Just let me just say, I can't wait till we see more Penguin. He's not just only unrecognizable in the movie, he just felt like he was buried in that role. I've seen a lot of movies where people try to bury someone in prosthetics and makeup, and it's like they're trying to push something that's not really there. Colin Farrell as the Penguin truly feels like the Penguin. It's not just that they threw makeup and prosthetics and everything on him. He's unrecognizable, and he truly just kills this role. I promise you. And Jeffrey Wright as Jim Gordon just truly feels like Jim Gordon. I know a lot of people have, not a lot of people, some had negative things to say about him being portrayed as this character. I don't mind it. I love it. He's my favorite version of Jim Gordon. In fact, I don't mind it at all, and he was one of my favorite performances in the movie. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman felt pretty amazing as well. Her chemistry with Robert Pattinson from start to finish was amazing. I'd love to see her back as Catwoman. I don't know if she'd be getting her own film. I don't know what they would do. I know sometimes they have been speaking about these HBO Max specials that will be coming, in the near future. But I enjoyed her as Catwoman. She felt like she really understood the assignment. Man, it's so hard to not give away things while talking about this, man. You guys have to see this movie. Andy Serkis as Alfred. I wish we would have gotten more time between Bruce Wayne and Alfred. But of course, if we're barely seeing Bruce Wayne throughout the movie, 90% of the movie is with the Batman. We're not going to see much of Alfred. I do feel like they are a strong pair together as well. I've seen some people not feel that chemistry or that strong connection between the two, but we've always had strong Bruce Wayne and Alfred pairs. So I mean, I don't really see this isn't less good than the other Bruce Wayne and Alfreds we've had. I feel like he did really good as Alfred as well. Now, before I move on to Paul Dano, I'm going to say that I classify this film as a thriller/horror. And I'm not going to lie, Paul Dano is part of that reason why this movie terrified me. He's super scary in the film. People are comparing him to Jigsaw. He was inspired by the Zodiac Killer. He truly brought a horror element to this film. And I was kind of iffy about him later on in the movie. I still think he's a really good Riddler. One of my favorite comic book villains. I felt like he did pretty good in the role. And there's, I think it's the opening scene where there's this specific shot. And I'm like, I get the vibe this film is going for now. There's something that happens with one of his first victims. Like, as soon as you see the Riddler, you're like, okay, I know what they're going for in this film. I loved it. The way he played the mental games with the Batman and everyone in Gotham City, it just had me on my toes, man. I'm not gonna lie, you guys are gonna love this movie. And just to finish things off, I just want to thank Matt Reeves once again. I saw your vision. I love every single bit of this. This movie, by the way, is 3 hours. If you have to drink a large Dr. P, some cola, whatever, you might want to put it aside. It got to the point, like I said, to where I forgot to eat my popcorn, my snacks, and everything. It's a 3-hour movie. And let me just say, you feel and see the passion that went into this product. This movie gives you time to simmer and just sit in everything that they're throwing at you. It's not a super fast-paced movie. It's a very story-driven, dialogue-driven movie that just lets you be a part of the journey. You feel a part of this journey. And I don't give a shit about the runtime. I'm glad it was 3 hours. It did feel like 3 hours, but it's not the 3 hours that you're dreading. It's 3 hours of you just experiencing this journey, being a part of it. You feel like you're there, and no shot was wasted in this movie. Shot by shot. Swear to you, I'm not exaggerating. Shot by shot, you feel the passion and the thought that was put into this film. And my girlfriend's favorite, one of her favorite scenes was actually the first time you get to see the Batmobile. And I see why. There's nothing in this movie that disappointed me, and I'm not even going to really talk about things that bother me because to me they're not worth mentioning. Is this a perfect movie? I don't think no movie is perfect. Would I change anything though? No. I even give this movie a 10 out of 10. I also give this score a 10 out of 10 from the Batman theme to everything else about this score. All around the house, all day. Boom, 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 boom. I'm singing the Batman theme everywhere I go. It's stuck in my head. This might be the best score for a Batman film in my opinion, and this might be the best Batman theme, and I know a lot of people might push back on that, which is fair, but that's truly how I feel about this. This movie is nothing but a masterpiece, guys. I promise you, you won't regret it. I keep saying that, I know, but you will not regret seeing this movie. The last thing I will say, there is something I saw online where they did have an issue with the combat. I don't think we should be talking about combat considering how the combat was for the Dark Knight trilogy, for one. And for two, I saw somebody say, oh, when we got that first trailer and we saw Batman just unleashing on one of those thugs on the street, they said the action wasn't as good as it was in the trailer. Like, the action in general, from the combat to everything that's in there as far as the action, it doesn't disappoint, guys. I don't see why people have an issue with the action, the combat, but I loved every single bit of it. And I think that's going to be it for the video. I've had a lot to say. I will be doing a spoiler review video pretty soon, but I loved it. This is a 10 out of 10 Batman film for me. The greatest Batman film to date, me personally. And I know people might look at me for a Robert Pattinson fanboy, but man, I don't know what to tell you. This was amazing. You guys go check it out. I hope you guys have a good day, man. See ya.